I thought I would come on and do the empath prayer, maybe do some blitzes, and see if we can't get some information. The world has kind of gone a little crazy, right? People feel like the world is on fire. Yeah. So I thought I would do the empath prayer and I would just do some straight tarot card readings about what I think is going to happen. I will tell you that I have done some remote viewings of the situation in Israel, and it appears that the security break is coming in from Egypt, and it's also the ports in Egypt. So, what is happening is that there were members of the military that were being paid to look the other way while weapons were being smuggled in. The raw materials come in from Iran and then they get in through the southern border. Um, and they also appears that they were getting in through the waterway system, which is usually heavily monitored by the Israelis. So it was interesting to see on the Egyptian side that that was going on. My concern here is that this will also trigger foreign fighters. So just as you have this tunnel and this water system that people may not be entirely aware of, where Egyptian military was taking money and allowing weapons to come in. We could also see foreign fighters coming in from areas in support of Iran. For example, Hamas is basically an Iranian proxy military. Now, Hezbollah, also a proxy military of Iran, is evidently problems in the north from Lebanon. We're seeing some tensions. But when I go into this energy as a meditation, I'm feeling aligned. So if you have Gaza here and you have Egypt here, I'm feeling a line of weapon caches coming in. Also, potentially through the Suez Canal, I'm seeing potentially some weapons getting into the wrong hands, possibly because if you have people in the Egyptian military that are sympathetic and then they're being bribed, that appears to be what's going on. So now the Egyptian government and the Egyptian military has to go through its own ranks and try and find out who was helping Iran get weapons into Gaza. All right, so we're going to do the empath prayer, and one by one, we're going to just try and tackle this crazy world that we're in. I also want to remind people of the message from Spirit before all this broke out, and that is that we all have to insulate ourselves to some extent right now. Hunker down this winter, keep yourself protected. Live simply. Don't make any major purchases right now. This too shall pass. But you really want to just hunker down for the long winter's nap and just take care of you and insulate yourself. Maybe have it be a time of prayer and build your own heaven on earth and try not to get too overwhelmed by the chaos of the outside world right now. Okay, let's do the empath prayer. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. I had said that I think that Israel will go in and stay in Gaza. Um, I think 2.5, 3 months from now, Israel will still be in Gaza. Let's take a look. So you have East Berlin and West Berlin when World War II was going on. And my concern here is that Gaza, you have the wall in Gaza, between Gaza and Israel, the border, and that this could potentially become a situation of East West where you have Eastern fighters coming in on the Gazan side, and then Israel is forced to have to defend and shore up that area. It may also cause Americans to have to return back to the Middle East. And that's the concern, is that America could be pulled into this because of this feeling that Israel will not be able to defend both its southern and northern borders at the same time. So you have right now in Israel this military crackdown that's happening. It's really zero tolerance. So this military crackdown comes in, the justice card, where they're at. And it is a patient, methodical kind of an energy, too. Two major arcana coming in over the Israeli response, measured, but also the temperance would be very measured, very sober, but with that justice card, I would say the Israelis are very, very determined. It's a new beginning. Remember, this is a war card also because it's the time. It's the Mars child. It's the Aries child. He's marching to his own beat. He's the pioneer. So it's a new phase. Now, Hamas supposedly had said, well, let's negotiate. Let's calm down. Maybe we can we can trade some hostages. You can see here where Israel's at is the Two of Swords. I don't see Israel at all open-minded to wanting to negotiate right now. Then there's also this financial incentive. There's a financial incentive that it goes back to the fact that there was a financial incentive to negotiate peace with Saudi Arabia. And how was Gaza not a part of that? So you have this anger, and part of it had to do with lack of jobs, being, a large population, work, employment, the fact that they felt like they had not been part of those negotiations. Sun is coming out for Israel over this issue. So it almost feels to me like they're going in and they're fighting with Hamas. It's very much a feeling of, the sun is like sanitation. This is the Israeli response. But the response by Hamas is that I feel like they will be cornered, they will be confused. And I think that Hamas did not, I don't know why, but they don't appear to have been prepared for this kind of aggressive Israeli response. So you have this complete confusion, howling at the moon, that Hamas gets completely surrounded and is kind of abandoned in this situation when the Israelis come in, star over Israel. So it appears that Israel will be safe. I feel like civilians in Gaza will be evacuated, and I feel like they will be offered some civilians will be offered safe passage during the fighting, possibly by boats out of Gaza, because I keep getting that card that often denotes passage by boats away from the fighting. People have asked because they know that Iran is backing both proxy military. Hezbollah and Hamas both are basically Iranian army. So, which it begs the question: will Palestinians, forever be occupied by somebody? If it's not Israel, it's Iran, right? So, I just want to see what the future of Gaza is over the next couple of months. Military occupation. You can see here the military card, the King of Swords, is going to be occupying Gaza for many months to come. I don't think that there will be self-governance for a very long time. So, New Beginning, War Kings, the War page, the page of Mars, right? So it's the Mars child. This is fire, this can be war, this is the military, the hope and the fear, armistice. Three of Cups is a card, we've talked about it, of armistice, of peace, dancing in the streets after the war has ended. This is what we hope and fear, that there will not be an end. And then the final outcome, more soldiers going in quickly. The clarification, the Israelis will not be leaving. They want to establish a permanent basis there. There will be permanent Israeli bases. There's no intention of leaving as a result of this. You can see Two of Wands to establish permanence. This could be a permanent position with the military there. So they don't feel, because of the Iranians coming in with Hamas, they don't feel, the Israelis, that they can pull out of the area safely. If they did, then the Iranians would come back in. So for that reason, it looks like the Israelis are going to reestablish military bases in Gaza to keep the Iranian-based Hamas out. The positive side in all of this is that there does appear to be an option for some people to be able to leave safely, and new options to be available to them. That's an unfortunate situation. So it could go on for a while. Now, it came out, before I close, it came out that Putin was saying that he would destroy trade in Ukraine, that the way to win the war for him is to simply destroy trade, so that people no longer want to do trade with Ukraine and will move on. And therefore, there will be no financial incentive for people to back Ukraine. And that is how Russia will win. This is probably also why he's bombing the trade routes, which he's inevitably told us about for so many years, like Odessa. But I just want to see what we can expect from him, and if he will be communicating with Israel. He plays both sides of it. He's an ally of Iran while simultaneously acting like he's Netanyahu's friend. China may also be offering military aid, which is so scary times. But let's just look at Putin's plan in Ukraine and what's going to happen with that. His first act is to attempt to dismantle his enemies. So he's attempting to dismantle his enemies. I feel we can expect more cyber attacks. Even if the Wagner Group is gone, we're still going to start seeing more cyber attacks. Prior to this, prior to him invading Crimea and Ukraine, Sweden and Finland were not part of NATO, but they are now. And so I get this energy of a strong Ukraine. For example, they attempt to take the weapon away, but you can see their opposition is a strong Ukraine. This is Ukraine's card. They attempt to flee as thieves. We've talked about the fact that they stole quite a bit from churches, they stole icons, etc. The final outcome for Russia is Ten of Swords, which is to be betrayed by one's own or stabbed in the back. And I think the reason why we see this as the end of Russia in Ukraine is because soldiers are being paid by the Ukrainian intelligence and by British MI6, etc., to hand over information, locations, etc., in exchange for payment. And so what you have is the final outcome, what eventually takes out the Russian military, despite what Putin wants. Ultimately, it's the Russian people themselves that betray the Russian army, bringing it eventually to its knees. The clarification: he will have to offer a peace treaty. The final outcome is the peace treaty. He wants to have some victories. He wants to keep Crimea. You can see here, no deal. Zelensky vows to continue to fight. So we have the peace treaty. Eventually, Putin will be forced to offer a peace treaty because he has no more soldiers left because of the amount of them that are betraying the Russian army in exchange for payment, giving up locations. This is one of the reasons why the Ukrainians have been so effective bombing, for example, the headquarters, the naval headquarters, is because the locations and the assistance that they're receiving from inside Russian intelligence. All right, I want to thank everyone for watching this very quick video on the current difficult situation. We'll continue to monitor it in the coming days. If you want to come in, or if you need me to give you a phone reading, you can find my information below. Also, I'm doing Wizios, which are the quick 5-minute reading if you need something a little bit less expensive. All right, I think that's everything. Be sure and like and subscribe if you'd like to continue to watch these fun videos, and we will see you next time. Be well, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.